Welcome to the Money Watch Show. It is Tuesday, August 29th, and Mark and I are on vacation, which I'm so excited for. And Mark, I hope that you do not work during your vacation. What will you do to make sure that do you check in? How do you manage your vacation mode?
Oh, I'll definitely be working. There's kind of no getting around it. It's just the two of us, so it's not. That's like the one drawback of this kind of arrangement that we have is it's like you're never really truly off, but it's okay because you can kind of dictate your own schedule of when you do what.
But can't you pre-load things, or no? It actually requires you to be doing it. I really don't know. I mean, I don't know half the stuff that you do, man.
Yeah, some stuff can be scheduled ahead of time, but some stuff like, getting the radio show to CBS, that has to be done on certain days of each week. And, like the questions of the day that we do, that has to be done on certain days of the week. So, but it's just little things here and there. It's not like a full 8-hour day of work.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that you have to do that. I do feel bad. I feel like, everybody has to make this kind of deal with the current situation in terms of work, because there is something wonderful about it in that, like, how cool that we can take all this time off and, you can do a little bit of work here and there. You can work remotely, or that Mark has just figured out that he hadn't been into a studio, I think, since March of 2020. Is that right, Mark?
Correct.
But we had already figured out how to do remote.
Yeah, we were doing it here and there, but it wasn't every single week.
Yeah, we went full on, man. We went full on. But the downside is that, it makes so many things possible, and yet you are tethered in some respects. I think that as we navigate our vacation time, but even our work time and hybrid work, part of this is about creating boundaries, but it's also about setting expectations. I hate these people who are like, oh, I never want to have a vacation responder on. I think that's dopey. You should have a vacation. We should not live in a culture where you think you have to be available 24/7, 365 days a year. That's nuts. And nobody's that important. Like, even doctors take time off and get coverage, Although I have my doctor's cell phone number. It's fabulous. Do you have yours, Mark?
Yeah. We've gotten friendly over the years. It's funny you mentioned that, because I was, I've taken my Italian lessons, and my teacher, she's like a young woman from Italy. And we were talking the other day about how life is going here in New York. I mean, she likes it, but she just says that Americans just work way, way, way too much.
We really do. We really do. It's funny. I met this guy recently who just opened a restaurant. He's a very big time executive he was in the hospitality business, and he opened up a small local restaurant. It's like, oh, it's a fun retirement thing. Not so much fun. And he talked about, like, it's really tough because he says, I feel like, people who are under the age of 30 have a very different expectation about what work is. I said, but maybe they actually have a good idea here. I don't think that people who are under 30 or 35 say, oh, I don't think I have to work. I think that they're smart, which is, I don't want to feel owned by my job or my career, that I need to actually breathe a little bit. I need to have some balance. I'm all in on that. I think I have learned, like, you can work really hard, and it's great if you feel like you have some sense of control. If everything's out of your control, you're going to feel horrible. And so I want to implore you all, as we are going to be coming into the end of August, the end of summer, that you do put some boundaries up. And if you've got an unreasonable boss, then that sucks. And maybe you should go look for another job, or you maybe need to go around that person and try to figure out a way to make it work better. But I think bosses, you have some unrealistic expectations sometimes that these people don't own the business. I remember once I complained to my father when I owned the company, Mark. I said, nobody realizes. And when I have to carry around, my father's like, no kidding. That's why you're the boss. Stop complaining. It was like such a wake up call. I was like, you're right, Daddy. Thank you. Little wisdom from Albie. He was like, not having it. All right. Let's go talk to one of you. If you've got a financial question, don't forget, go to JillOnMoney.com, click the contact us button. Let's talk to Dorothy in Texas. I tried to say Dorothy from Kansas. She wouldn't let me change it. So welcome, Dorothy. How are you?
Thank you so much. And thank you, Mark, as well. I'm doing well.
Tell us what's going on. How can we help you out?
So I'm a little bit of a hot mess in that I lost my plus father, my stepdad, several months ago. and he was diagnosed and then with cancer, and within 6 months he passed.
Oh, honey, I'm so
Um,
sorry.
Thank you. It really sucked. And I was abroad at the time. And so, yeah, it was hard. But I've definitely learned the lesson. So I had an emergency fund, but no one else did. And so
Hmm.
I had to, I chose to fund a lot of the funeral expenses, and then I actually had more family members pass. And so I paid for more out of pocket because just emotional spending.
Yeah.
I wanted to ensure that family was together and we were there to support each other. And so I've made some other not so wise financial decisions that were emotionally driven. And so I was just
Mm.
calling to see if I can kind of get back on track or have assistance getting back on track.
Okay, we can do that. These things happen. Periods of time with high stress. This is like very normal. So let's start with how old are you, Dorothy?
I am 35.
Dorothy, are you partnered, married, single?
Uh, is complicated a category?
Yeah, I mean, of course it's okay. Let's do a first one. Are you legally married to anyone?
Thankfully, no, I'm not.
Thankfully, no. You got that, Mark? Mark that down. So you're not married. You've got a boyfriend, and who knows what happens next. But do you live your lives financially apart from one another? Or are you just on your own financially?
We do live our financial lives separately.
Okay, perfect. That's fine. And are you working, Dorothy?
I am. I am a government employee, and post tax, I make about 95,000 a year. Pre tax with the bonus, it's about 150.
Okay. Are you contributing to a retirement account in addition to your pension benefit?
Yes. So I work to max my TSP, Roth TSP, and then a
Hmm.
Roth IRA every year. But I've
Great.
only done it for like the last 3-ish years.
That's great. How much is in the TSP right now?
And the TSP, I have about 130,000,
Great. And the Roth IRA?
about 11,500.
Do you have some money in cash, just like a little buffer?
Emphasis on little. I kind of spent down my cash and emergency fund, but it's about $4,500. Working to build that
Um,
up to 50 for my
okay.
emergency, but
Don't worry. We'll take care of that. Dorothy, do you have debt that you have accumulated when you went through this kind of shaky emotional period?
yes. Unfortunately, I have about $16,000 of consumer debt,
Hmm.
and the interest rate is 13.89%.
It's not even so bad given the rates right now. Amazing. And is that it for debt, or do you have any other loans, a car loan or anything floating around?
I have mortgages,
Oh, mortgages. Do we have two pieces of property?
3.
Three. Let's start with one that is considered your primary, or are they all rental?
Okay, so I'll start with the amount that I owe on one of them is 127,000.
Hmm.
Its interest rate is 5.374,
Hmm.
and the estimated value for whatever stock one puts in that is
Hmm.
183,000. And
And who lives in that? Do you live in that?
my biological father lives in that.
So, but you hold the note. Is he paying the cost of that?
No, it's me.
Okay. How old's your dad?
He is 68.
And is he working or retired?
He's sort of medically retired. He has quite a few health problems, and
Okay.
so I was able to do the FHA parental family loan program thingy.
Yep.
And so that's how we got him in there.
Number two property.
Number 2, amount owed is 160,000. Interest rate
Hmm.
is 2.75,
Hmm.
and estimated rental income is 2250, and estimated value is 286.
I'm sorry. The income you said was 2250 a month. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. So this sounds like a winner. Who's living in this?
Just some random renters.
Okay. So this is a rando renter.
Yeah.
This is the property that's working for you.
Yes.
Okay. So this one's, I'm putting a check mark next to that one. You said there's a third property. You're killing me, girl.
I know. And I want another one. What?
No, keep going.
The amount owed is 315,000.
Ooh, this is a biggie.
Yes.
What's it worth?
Estimated value is 355. I recently purchased it. Interest rate is 3.125.
Not bad.
And the property manager said that the estimated income is 2,700.
Is it possible that you would want to live in any of these properties, by the way?
No, what I plan to do when I return to the US is so I have a housing allowance. And so
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking at like little huts to be able to bank my housing allowance for
Okay.
a majority of it. So I plan on
Okay.
renting for a while.
So the two properties, number 2 and number 3, when do you think the 2,700 can get turned on? Like you said, should be. It sounds like that's a recent acquisition.
I expect next month.
Okay. These houses will start cash flowing positive. I mean, they're going to make $5,000 a month between the two of them. The cost can't be that much to maintain because these both have pretty minimal mortgages. So is it fair to say that, at least for the time being, you're not doing with anything with these properties? Is that correct?
Correct.
If your father were to, God forbid, drop dead, would you sell that property immediately?
No, it is an area that's booming.
Mm-hmm.
There was recently a big storm in that area, and so the housing market is on fire because there's not many properties available, and there's several thousand people planning to or projected to move into the area, and so
Mm-hmm.
I know that it would make a good rental.
So ostensibly, you got this debt that's out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 3 properties that are going to be two properties are going to be cash flowing. Keep working for the government for how long in your estimation? I mean, are you the kind of person who's like, I'm going right till I can max out my pension and then I'm done? Or what do you think?
If I could retire tomorrow, I would. Well, I would. I won't
Okay,
say
you're not
retire.
gonna.
I'll say next endeavor. Do a next. Fine. If I could.
Okay.
Yes.
So when would you be able to get your pension where it's really worth sticking around? 50? Age 50? What?
About 8 more years, and then I will receive a pension. But every year I work longer, it would be higher.
Give me an idea of do you have any numbers on the pension?
Yeah. So my pension is about, well, if I retire when I'm eligible in about 8 years, it'll be about 80,000 a year.
80,000? Wow. So what is your issue now besides the debt? We'll talk about that in a second. But right now, what's the most important thing for you? You want to understand whether you're on track to get to next endeavor? What is it? What do you think?
So yes, on track, but also a couple of other maybe blunders I made.
Okay.
One was I co-signed for my brother's mortgage. So I don't regret co-signing because, yeah, he's awesome and he's my brother. But I do regret not insisting that I'm on the deed. So I'm on hook for the loan, but not the house in case anything happens.
That usually only happens with a deadbeat ex. I mean, we'll see how your brother reacts to that.
Well, he wants another house, so I'm sure he won't stiff me on this one.
Yeah. Well, he's not going to be getting it from you, but continue.
I also so right before my plus dad passed, I paid for a family vacation for Christmas, and we were able to spend that time all together, and it was just really awesome. I was able to make it home, and that somehow prompted me to purchase a timeshare, like a traveling timeshare. I knew better, but I was like, but it's for the family. So I have a timeshare that's paid off.
All right, timeshare. I'm putting. You know how I value that on a balance sheet? 0. You didn't finance that, did you?
Yes, but I paid it off.
Oh, okay. It's fine as long as I don't have to worry about it. So right now on your balance sheet, I have 3 properties, 1 timeshare, Roth thrift savings plan, Roth IRA, cash of $4,500, and debt of $16,000. And I mean, I know I have the debt of your brother, but I'm kind of leaving that off. I'm hopeful. How much is the co-signed of that loan? What is the loan?
Is it terrible that I don't remember?
Hundreds of thousands or, 800?
No, probably like 200 something thousand.
When you co-sign on a loan, of course, you're joint and severally liable. So it's not like you have half of that. You have the whole debt. You have to carry it on your balance sheet, right?
Right. And you might come through the phone and choke me, but I have been in contact with a broker, and he did say that as long as I can prove that my brother has been paying the mortgage out of his own bank account, if I'm so inclined to get another property, then that won't count against me.
Hard no, no flipping way. You cannot buy another home. That's insanity. If you want to add to your problems, and these problems that you've created right now are actually doable. But if you're going to add to that, I just think you are really asking for trouble. So that's not happening. There's no more housing in your future right now. Okay. Unless you sell something. So if you say, okay, but it's so silly because unless you're buying something for your own use, then don't do it. You own 2 rental properties. You've got your father. You're going to end up with 3. 3 rental properties is plenty. Okay. Meanwhile, I got to make sure that you can pay off this debt and stop doing these knucklehead moves with your family.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything else in your financial life that we should be aware of?
I do have about $45,000 in a brokerage.
Whoa, wait a minute. Where is that invested? Where?
In Wealthfront.
Are you sitting on capital gains or losses in that account, or both?
Gains.
A lot?
Last time I looked, the net gain was maybe 20-something%.
So here's what you're going to do. We're getting rid of this debt now, right now. You're selling $25,000 out of this brokerage account. You're going to make sure you understand what your tax liability is going to be. You're going to pay down that debt ASAP, and you're going to put the rest of the money and add it to your cash position.
So I start from 0 with the brokerage?
I would sell $25,000. You can leave $20,000 in there. You're going to have some money that you have to pay tax on it. Pay off your debt immediately, right? And add the rest of the money to your cash account.
Perfect.
So if we nip this in the bud, right? This is a problem that has occurred because of a crisis, okay? And I understand that, and I understand we all do. You so remind me of somebody in my life that it is weird. I'm having this conversation with you because I've had this conversation before. If we nip this in the bud, then I think you're absolutely on track to do whatever you want. I'm not kidding. You could have made a lot more significant blunders. So I think that if, number one, we blow out of the brokerage account, take that $25,000, pay down the debt, add the rest to the cash. Now, going forward, you're already putting money into the Roth. What I would like is, once you don't have the debt to service anymore, do you think that you can still squirrel away some extra money or not?
Yes, I usually have about $1,500 to $2,000 extra a month.
Okay. Well, you can take that $1,500 or $2,000 and add it to your cash account for a bit. I mean, the logical thing is to pay off the debt. You can keep the rest of the money in the brokerage, and then your new money, then you don't have to worry about gains and, paying capital gains. And then when that $2,000 a month, add it to your cash account until you get to 50. If you just I want more security. I want that money right now. I don't care if I have to pay capital gains, then sell the whole account out, get yourself back in back in the saddle where, you'll get to 50 pretty quickly, and then you can start rebuilding the brokerage. But it doesn't really matter. It's like 6 1, half dozen the other. If you're okay, I would just get rid of the debt immediately, keep the $20,000 in the brokerage, add to your cash account until you get to 50. And then as soon as you're at 50, turn around and start putting that $1,500 or $2,000 a month into the brokerage account. Do not pay down any of these mortgages. No way.
The renters are paying them.
Right. Also, no one else in your family is getting money. It is time to put yourself first. And I want you to stay in touch with us. I want a screenshot of when you tell your when you sell that Wealthfront $25,000 and pay. I want to see a zero balance on that consumer debt.
Yes, ma'am, will do.
All right. I think you're going to have a lot of opportunities in the future. I really do. And I think you will be able to have a new or next endeavor because you have this amazing pension. And so you'll have a side hustle, you'll have the rental income, you'll have the pension, you do whatever you want. You've got to just stop yourself from making these emotional decisions around your family, you're a wonderful family member. Nothing will take that away. But what I can say is that this pattern just has to stop now. Just has to stop. And I promise you, when we get off the air, I'm going to tell you like one of the reasons I think that that's so important, because I have a very specific story to tell you, which I cannot tell on the air, that will maybe resonate with you. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Dorothy in Texas, go pay off that debt and stop helping your family so much.
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
If you, like Dorothy, would like to join us, all you need to do is go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and check the box that says you would like to come on the air. We would love to have you. While you're there, sign up for the free weekly newsletter, check out the Great Money Reset, and don't forget to subscribe to our news service. It's not even so new anymore. Jill on Money Live. Next up, Nate Burleson, Wednesday, September 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. He's going to talk to us all about the upcoming NFL season. He's the greatest. He's a doll also, just an absolute doll. Mark Talercio is the co-host and executive producer, as well as the web king of the Jill on Money empire. We are distributed by Paramount Global. We drop our episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. Do me a favor. Do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you on Thursday.